shit.
Wait, what do you go on the like how to gain followers? It's just like you gotta post at least 9 videos and then worry about your first 100. I'm like, I don't got the patience for that.
Hell no.
All right. So now we just gotta go to my J Everything page and just share it to yours.
Um, on
Wait, what do you
Facebook?
go on the like? Oh shit.
On Facebook, right?
Yeah, yeah, Facebook, and then you can try to tag yourself on whatchamacallit, on Instagram. I've never done it, so good luck.
Hold on. So go to your J Everything page on Facebook. Oh, that's us right now. Wait, so what
That's
do I
me.
do here?
And just share it.
Save. I don't know how to share this. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Point it at the camera. I'll tell you how to do it.
Share to yours. Share now. Share to your timeline.
Timeline, news feed, whatever.
Share to your story. More options. I don't see an IG one. Oh, share via Twitter.
Oh no, you can't share it from Facebook to IG. You're gonna have to go on Instagram
Oh,
separately and do some from there. You know what I'm saying?
yes. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure. Okay. It's on my page now.
Can you see if my live is up? Like I can't actually check if it's up. That's
Like
the
on your page?
yeah, my Instagram.
Oh, I mean, let's see. Oh, it is Bowie.
Yeah. I told you. You see the little ticker in the middle? Look at read the little thing in the middle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Myself.
That's why I said stand near the middle. Like I gotta shift over a little bit.
Hold on. It's delayed. I gotta wait for it to.
Yeah, for some reason Instagram is like a real big delay.
I'm watching us in like super delay.
Other side. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, now you're just messing up the Facebook one. Like you know, whatever,
Where
man. It's
should
just
I?
gonna be your nose. Just let it be your nose. I'm telling everyone to go on Facebook Live. They go on Instagram. They look at the face or Instagram Live. Go to Facebook.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, right here
Yeah.
on the IG one. I'm in it.
The focus is the Facebook one.
Okay.
That's the one we want. All right. Let me just do a sound check on over there. Make sure it's not weird.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We sound good. Did you turn the sound on?
On my phone.
Yeah. So make sure you mute
Yes.
everything else, and then just as long as you can hear it, because if it like double sounds, it's good. Hey, damn, we up to 11 viewers. Hey, if you're new here, drop a what's up. Say what's up to Alex. Let us know who's in the room, because I can only tell if you're my friend, and right now, none of y'all are my friends. It's all Alex's friends.
How do you see the comments that are on Facebook? Or like,
Oh, you gotta go on. You just gotta go on Facebook. It's all Alex's friends.
oh shit. How do you see the comments that are on Facebook?
Uh-oh. Yeah. Make sure you mute it because you're double playing. Oh, Rachel, what's up? Rachel in the house. My number one favorite fan.
I can't figure. Can I mute just the live?
How do you see the comments that are on Facebook?
Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
I got
Andrew
it.
says what's up.
We in this bitch.
Yeah, don't pay attention to the IG live. I'm still trying to work out the kicks. I literally just figured out how to do it. All right, let's go ahead and start before we go past my limit. Usually my intro is like 5 minutes, mainly because it takes that long to get all the kinks worked out and shared. But I think we're good to go. Alex, customary to my podcast, I usually raise a glass to my guests. I just want to say thank you for coming on. For the people watching, Alex was the last person to work with me on one of my last jobs before I moved into corporate commercial world. And even though the job didn't turn out the way we wanted to, we didn't get the best review. I think I had to delete the review from my page. I just want to say it's been awesome to see your growth, see your development and evolution as not only as an artist, but as a videographer, director, DP, all the other end of word things. I just think it's awesome that you're doing good things. You're building your own team. You're reaching out to collaborating with all these other people. It's good, man. I'm really happy for you. Appreciate you for coming on. Cheers. We're going to have to do it again in person when you're actually drinking, because you said you wouldn't drink if you're not in person.
Cheers,
to you,
in
my
the
friend.
Pocari sweat.
All right, brother, real quick. Besides what I already said, do you mind just quickly introducing yourself to the people out there?
Yeah, man. What's going on, guys? I'm Alex De Guzman. Main stuff that I'm doing right now is a lot of cinematography work, DP work, directing work. But yeah, I mean, during COVID, it's kind of been a whole like shift of content creating where people are trying to kind of tell their stories, like interview style, like doc style type stuff. Obviously, all the like events, all like event coverage is gone, all like the big event coverage is gone. But you know, people still out here creating, telling stories. So I feel like there's always a lane and avenue for us to create video content for people. And honestly, people need it now more than ever because shit, people can't go anywhere. So they need video content to post because ain't nobody gonna see them if they don't got no.
And that's pretty much what I'm doing live. I mean,
Yeah.
to that effect, I mean, it's just like raw and I don't have to edit it. So that's one of the main reasons I do it. And it gives me a reason to reach out to my homies, all my friends in the creative space. Honestly, of what I'm doing now in work and business and family, like this is one of the main things like I miss. Like I'm an artist at heart. Like when I see a nice painting, like a tear comes to my eye. Like when I see a sunset, I start getting like mushy and stuff. Like damn, man, I wish I could recreate that. But you know, life happens and we do different things. But it's just awesome to see where you're at and still having that motivation and that passion to move forward, because that's healthy, man. We need that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, thank you. Wait, everybody that's watching, whoever's watching, just let it be known. I may not be doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for Jay.
That's true. No, I take it back. No, that's not true. Because if it wasn't me,
No, it's
someone else
true.
would have picked. Someone else would have picked you up. Someone else would have.
But I mean, it takes one person to believe.
Right.
But yeah, you sent me out on my first gig and I bombed. She said too much slow mo. She said he was a nice kid. He looked like he knew what to do, but I hated what I got. So we're here now.
Well, that's one of the major life lessons when it comes to not so much doing creative work. You're more of providing a service. We were talking about that a little bit off camera. There's a huge difference between being an artist and then providing a service, as far as being in the industry and just kind of figuring out what the client wants. At the end of the day, you did a good job. Like from my eyes, I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like that slow-mo, crisp. But to them, they're like, I don't know why we need slow-mo during my grandfather's like birthday speech.
Right.
Like he's standing still. Why is it slow motion? I'm like, Alex, it looks dope.
I just discovered HFR and I just hit that 120 too many times.
Grandpa's just drinking his glass like. But the crazy thing is, it's like an hour video. Like, why is there that much slow motion on this hour video? But that's great that you brought it up. I mean, not great, but it's a great segue into our first question. Like, can you talk about what the biggest difference between being an artist, because that's originally what you are. I used to go to your shows and shit, and like throw my bra and panties at you when you sing those high notes and do them body rolls. Like, can you tell the or talk a little bit about the difference and compare it to where you are now as far as being behind the camera and the huge transition you have to make to kind of look at it from a business perspective and kind of looking at it as how I treat the customers now?
Yeah, yeah. So I think maybe I'll answer it in two parts. So I think like I think the big thing about me being an artist first that really helped me is it made me understand how people want to feel on the other side of the camera right away.
Air horns.
But yeah, like I already knew like how I wanted to feel, the way that people talk, like the way the people on set spoke to the client, or it made me know like just how to treat people right away. And like because I was an artist, I feel like I kind of already understood the way that camera movement should be or framing should be, even without kind of knowing like the thirds or like grids or anything really
Right.
specific and shit like that. You know what I mean? I already knew like, oh, I know that my face looks better here than here, just by being the artist, right? So it really helped me like before I knew any of the technicalities, just by doing so many videos like with the homies, I already knew that shit. But um I think the biggest shift of being an artist and then catering to clientele is I started realizing that like 80% of the work actually is the interaction between you and the client, not the actual video, right? So even the consultations, the phone calls, the way you speak to their staff, the way that your staff and crew interacts with everybody else, like those are the things that matter the most and people don't realize, bro. And I
Remember,
think
hey, let me cut you off. Remember one of
sure,
the things that when we first showed up to a gig and you were like making fun of me because we had fucking headsets like Men in Black and shit?
and the badges. Yes, bro.
And you came up to me like, "Yeah, I've never seen this many white people before." I was just like, "No, man, you just gotta. This is just how it is, man. You gotta be constant communication. Like they'd like to know that you're taking care of them. So it's like that's just hilarious that you're talking about it now compared to like
Yeah,
when like you walk by me like, yo, what am I doing?"
yeah, you taught me that shit, bro.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. My bad. I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, but I think like in my early days, like something that I learned really soon was there were times in the early days when I'd get like double booked for gigs and I would like send whoever, whenever, like out to other gigs to cover the shoots and stuff. In the beginning, I started losing clientele that way because the people that I was sending out weren't professional enough with the clients, right? Like, yeah, the video fire, right? Your gimbal work, dope. But like the actual way that you spoke to the client or presented yourself or even like what you wore, like it all really matters. And you know, this is maybe like my fifth year professionally doing it now. And in maybe my first and second year, I wasn't so aware, right? But then my third year, my fourth year, my fifth year, I started realizing how important that shit was. Um, but yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing, like understanding like that the video work is literally like 20% of the job. So
Did you move up to the headsets like me? You didn't get there yet.
I moved up to the iPhones with AirPods.
Oh, look at, you know what? That technology advances, man. But you see how useful it was. Like we were
Yeah,
just
for sure,
able to
for sure.
communicate. Because sometimes it's just like capturing the right angle and just being
Yeah,
where you literally just got to stand by the person that's paying you because they got to
yeah,
know that you're doing it right. So I'm happy that you saw that because the business side of it, you're right. You say 80%. I think it's more like 90, 95%
yeah,
getting it,
bro.
kind of figure out what they want first, and
Mhm.
then you can add that in at the end because kind of just setting them up, telling them what exactly you provide, that saves you a lot of headache at the end. Like we bring up our example, like this customer, like if probably it was probably more so my fault that I didn't like prepare you or prepare us. We didn't really have like a formal sit down of what
Bro.
they were expecting. Yeah, it was like literally I called you like the week before. I'm like, hey man, I saw you put that Facebook post. I could probably even show it that you said, I just started because that's where I found it, right? Because you put it like a
Yeah.
quick post that you were doing, so started getting into it. So
You find that screenshot that.
yeah, that's
You gotta
probably
post
what
it online somewhere.
2015, 2014,
I
somewhere
think
around there.
14. I think 14 or beginning of 15. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember right after the show, we were just chilling at my house and we are just sitting because we are just tired. Like, damn, we were just standing on our feet the whole time, and because I was doing the photos, and you're
Yep.
like, why the hell do you have all this equipment for photos? I'm like, Tro,
Right.
like this is what it takes to get a fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
200-person photo
Yeah.
in a family event. But yeah, that's what it
When
takes. A lot of
we
it
went,
you really
when
don't
we
know.
went back,
So
when we went back to your crib was the first time I ever got schooled on camera equipment. I was like, what are all these toys? I was like,
I
why do you
know.
have so many lenses?
Yeah, I remember you're like, yeah, I got a 35 mil. I got
You
a
ever heard of
50.
you ever heard of this kit lens?
It zooms. I'm yeah, cool, cool, cool.
Bro.
Well, I honestly, great that you brought that up. Can you talk a little bit about the type of background and formal training you had on it compared to how important the on the job training and where you kind of look for to kind of learn skills, acquire new tactics and whatever?
Damn. YouTube, bro. Honestly, I feel like I learned YouTube University. That was like where I got my master's. But I just watched like hella YouTube videos and like posted up and like honestly like for months at a time I wouldn't go out. I would just like sit in my computer, watch YouTube videos, learn how to use Final Cut, learn how to do my ninja walk on my gimbal, learn how to do handheld stuff. And honestly, I learned everything on YouTube. And then what I started doing was like, sending people like you, sending people like my homie Andrew, who runs New Pixel Films, JJ, who runs, JJ from Bolingbrook, black guy. He runs this tech boogie. Anyway, he's dope. And
Probably, yeah, yeah.
I started sending you guys videos and just getting feedback, right? And I would take the good and the bad from everything and just honestly just learn from there. And I wouldn't say I got any like true formal learning except learning from other videographers or gaffers on set or lighting guys and just taking in like all the info. So yeah, no like school training or whatever, just yeah, talented people around me.
Yeah, I remember I took like one camera class at Harper College. I was just like, man, I learned so much, but then I didn't remember any of it when I actually transferred over because like all the cameras were so easy or so much easier by the time like I got into
Right,
the
right.
business. Like when I got my Sony, I was like, everything I learned in school, it's like that's already obsolete because this electronic viewfinder does everything for me. Like I don't have to do
On
anything.
focus,
Yeah,
TV,
yeah.
focus,
Remember I told you I was like, yo, go Sony. Trust me, it's so much easier. You don't even have
the
to put
move.
your face on the lens or anything. You don't have to put your face on the eye cup. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that I actually just transitioned to this black magic life, so like my first cinema camera kind of vibe, and man, this shit is hard.
Yeah, you're going in reverse, man. You
Yeah,
literally have to read the manual and fucking more YouTube videos for that. I don't
yeah,
think
it's
I
nice. It's
go.
nice though because I kind of was feeling plateaued with the genius in the Sony cameras. Like the auto white balance, the autofocus is just all so good that I kind of just relied on it. I would just let that shit fly. And now that I'm like in this cinema camera life, I realize how much work actually has to be put into the settings and presets, trying.
Reading and shit.
Yeah.
Well, great you brought that up. Can you? So, if you were to start over, or just even like someone come up to you like, "Yo, I think what you're doing is dope. I'm interested in cameras. Like, what piece of equipment or what piece of gear do you think I should start off with, or like one thing should I actually put all my money in? What would you say? Camera, laptop,
Yeah.
fucking school."
Like right now in 2020, what would I tell somebody one piece of gear that they should get?
Yes, sir.
Damn. I would say, damn, probably an A7 III. I feel like is probably a well-rounded tool. Because I mean, I would say A7S III, but that's more just video. I think A7 III handles photo a
And
bit
nobody
better.
got 5 grand that they could just throw on a camera and lens.
Right. Because what's A7 III right now? 2 grand, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2 grand, then you can get like a good 24 to 70 for a grand. So 3 grand, you're like all set to go. Because I mean, you don't even need a gimbal. You could just shoot handheld on that. So I would say stick with the Sony system because yeah, it's like the best and the easiest to me. And yeah, A7 III, maybe a nice little 18 to 35 or a 24 to 70, and then just get your
Well,
wide stand ready.
well, with that, you're already at 3 grand. So it's just like,
What's the budget?
fuck.
What's the budget? Who are we talking to right now?
So
We
like
talking college kids?
someone, I would never tell someone to go to fucking like the full frame. Just go something like an APS or APS-C
Yeah.
sensor, fucking a micro four thirds. Do something small. See if you even like it first, because I think a lot of people, they're like, yo, this shit looks cool. Feels dope to be hanging out with all these artists on music videos and shit. Look, Alex dressed all nice wearing a beanie and a fucking gold chain and shit. It's like, I want that. I want a goatee. Like, it's like, oh, I want to get in that. But like, bro, you don't see the work that goes into it. Like, you don't see like the 5 years that led up to me wearing
True.
fucking aviators with no lenses and shit. Like, it doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
in,
I do
in that,
think sorry. I do think though that because for me, like when let's say I was looking at my like A6500 now, that like I got so much work with and accomplished so many things that was fire. I feel like the price difference isn't that much different nowadays. You know what I mean? So it's like very small. So I guess like it's like you said, it depends how deep the person wants to get. Like, because I feel like you can tell like when you talk to somebody how serious they are. Because shit, if you were gonna like tell somebody off the bat, they should just get like an Osmo Pocket. You know, if they're gonna like do something
get two
chill.
GoPros,
300 bucks.
man.
Yeah, you know, because it just depends how deep they want to get. But you know, like if they're talking to me and they got some passion, they seem like they're into it. I'm gonna pitch them the A7 III. But if they seem like they're like kind of on the fence, you know, I low key would say just pick up your fucking phone. You know, try if you can create something with your phone and love it. I think that you can do something dope. Because like when I went to Japan in February, I didn't want to carry any of my gear. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, could I just create shit like with my phone? And like I brought my Osmo Pocket just in case. But I did like a whole video like with my girlfriend in Kyoto and like in this there's this thing called Team Lab where it's like a bunch of like really dope rooms. And yeah, man, I made some really dope content like just with my phone. So I feel like kids now got 4K in their phone.
You're fucking spoiled and shit.
Bro, I think the iPhone 12's got like HDR
And it has the
like
crazy image stabilization and shit.
yeah. So man, fucking like you know, if you're really trying to create something first, pick up your phone. If you can create something dope with your phone and you like it, I feel like you can. Loser said, "I love and facts." Yeah, all you need is your phone nowadays, bro. If you got an iPhone, you good to go.
Yeah. Well, I even tell people that too. It's like, you know that saying, the most important camera is the one that you always have on you. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
obviously,
You
use your
remember
phone.
you were telling me about that little compact one that you always have on your hip.
Yeah, I
What?
always do. That's what I'm shooting
Yeah.
on right now. I'm using a ZV-1, and I have my A50-100. Like, I take those on all of my gigs with. But you were talking shit to me. You're like, I don't think I would show up to a gig with this little dinky fucking frame up and shit.
Right.
But like,
How much is that picture? 300. 300. Excuse me, what?
Just one raw, no, not edited. But that's what it is. Oh, actually, you know what? Perfect that you brought that up. Can you talk a little bit about? I always bring this up to like my customers, or not customers, but people that always ask me about the business. I was like, you gotta also consider the perspective of the consumer. They don't know the difference between your Blackmagic 6K and my ZV-1. Like from what you give them, my 4K actually looks pretty dope in the right lighting compared to a fucking 6K that they have bad lighting. It's not, they're on wrong angles and they just have their ISO wrong. Can you talk a little bit about like your transition from not so much just the camera, but your evolution as far as learning more about the camera? Because remember when I schooled you that one time, like I schooled you, like there was so much about the camera. You're like, oh man, there's like so much I didn't even know about it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, it really didn't matter as much to me because clients were kind of just like homies, right? It was just like kind of like a small network of people around me that, you know, wanted to do like a dance video or, yo, can you cover like my event that I'm doing here and there, you know? So I didn't really get too deep into like, you know, 1080, 4K or like, you know, S logs and all that kind of like, you know, deep cinema kind of stuff. But I started realizing as I would get bigger clients and people that have like a higher standard of quality, then it started mattering to me because I would watch, like, they would send me something like, hey, we're kind of looking for something that will look a little bit like this, right? And then they'll send it to me and I'd be like, damn, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think
That's
I
on
can do that.
Vimeo.
Yeah. No compression. But yeah, as the clients got bigger and like the expectations got a little bit larger, I think I just like forced myself to learn more. Because I mean, honestly, bro, even now, this is just, for like a year and a half, I'm only just really getting really deep into like lighting and realizing how important like lighting is, that for all my bigger clients now, I don't try to do it all on my own. I hire a gaffer, I hire a grip. Like I let it be known that it's gonna save on time and be way better on quality if we just, and I've got like gaffers that'll do like a full day for like $400, 300, $400, like full day for
Which is
500.
honestly, that's a lot of money for a gaffer.
Yeah, but they provide the lights, which is
Oh,
lit.
okay. So you're renting it from them too. So that
Yes.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a gaffer. His name is Josh Jones, and he's like fire. And he comes with lights, and he'll like do it for the day, and he's like amazing. But when I've been on set with him and like my other friend Rendell for like the last year and a half, I started learning all this shit, right? And I had no fucking clue how crazy lighting was, because it's like you said, bro. Like with your little camera, a motherfucker could have a black magic but have no lighting and a horrible angle, and that's just gonna look booty, right? Like so bad. But yeah, I started learning all this shit about different lights and diffusions and Sputniks and Asteras and apertures, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Remember, you gave me like the weirdest look when I pulled out all the shit for like from my trunk.
Yeah, bro.
I'm like, where
You're
do you need all that?
you're doing the most. You're just taking photos.
You lying? You ain't using all that. The batteries aren't
Yeah,
even in it and shit.
I had no clue, man. Like I'm still getting put on game right now, and now that I've like the last 2 years, I've been doing more music video stuff, and like lighting and equipment for that is like a whole new beast for me. And yeah, I think it's just I am learning and understanding more, but it's nonstop. I mean, I'm sure there's shit that you're still learning like right now.
I just
Um,
gave up, man. Fuck it. I plateaued, bro.
I can't give up yet. I haven't saved enough like you have, but I gotta keep pushing and learning.
I just say, you know what? My clientele stops right here. I don't need anything higher.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
how many lights do you need? Nah, I don't got that. I'm good. Right here.
I just been getting myself into like bigger productions lately, like, and like the other day we did like a production like on stage with like a 12-person, like 6-person band, 6 people singing.
I saw that. It looked
And
dope. Looked dope.
yeah, and I mean, I had no clue what it was gonna take to light that place. What you got? Wine?
Is there?
Nice. But yeah, man, I had no idea what it was gonna take to light that place, and it ended up being
And there's no
like,
walls there too, because you're just literally
Yeah.
you can't bounce anything.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, we had like a Falcon Eyes above. I had 12 Asteras in front of, like 3 in front of each person. I had 2 Sputniks in the back, 3 apertures, and thinking to myself like, oh, this is gonna be easy to light. And then I hit up my gaffer. He's like, okay, we're gonna need this, and this. I was like, fuck.
Uh, Perfect that you brought that up, because my next question actually was, can you talk about that transition from like working like those smaller productions to the higher paying gigs where you're just like, oh, I need like a full crew squad in like 3 meetings just to set this up. Can you talk about not only that, but like your first time you were actually like the DP, actually run it, you're the one organizing everything, you're doing the sales. Can you talk about like the fucking shit show that usually is when it's your first time? You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Bro, I love the little gigs. Like I will never turn down a dope little gig with homie or like somebody that passed on. Like I think there's like kind of 2 directions that people go in. They either go in, I have a very select few gigs that I go with, and I have like a certain quality of client that I want. And then there's the I take everything person, right? I'm kind of like in a middle ground now where I won't take everybody, but I won't turn down a lot as long as I don't think it's like a stupid project, right? Like if it's somebody trying to create something and they're like decent and they've got a story to tell or they've got some sort of talent, I'll always say yes and work within a budget, right? I think what I've started realizing more is each client does have a budget, right? And there's a budget you have in mind, like your rate, but there's always some flexibility that you can give to the client based off of like, I don't know, like hours that you have on set, or like, you know, how much equipment you're going to bring, or blah, blah, blah. So, um, I forgot the question that you asked me. What did you ask me?
It's like what? Like how was it your first time actually running a whole fucking
Oh,
show? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I feel like the first time I actually dealt with a client was like a wedding, like dealing with like a couple,
Oh,
right?
I quit
And
weddings. I hate weddings so much.
I love shooting weddings. I don't like editing weddings anymore, but
Nope.
shooting them is fun. You don't like it?
I don't like any of it.
That's cool. I low-key just enjoy people at weddings. They're like happy most of the time. I've never encountered like a bridezilla, so it's all been good
Yeah,
with
I
me.
think that's why it is. Yeah, yeah.
What I've heard, when you encounter a bad couple, you're not going to want to do that shit anymore. But the first time I dealt with a client was like a consultation over the phone, and then I met them in person, and I was nervous as hell. I was nervous as hell trying to tell them that like this is how much I was going to charge for the package, because Andrew Fan, who runs New Pixel Films, he kind of had packages set, and like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is like how much we should be charging, and I'm like, damn, this is how much you're gonna charge? He's like, yeah. So I sit down with them, and like I, you know, go through like the consultation and negotiation, and then they hit me with a, okay, do you mind if we take a second? We'll be right back. We're just gonna go talk over here. So they leave, and I'm like low-key nervous, like, damn, are they gonna shut me down? But they come back and they say they're down, and they accept it, and yeah, man, that was like the beginning of feeling confident at the table. But like we were talking about earlier, it's always scary telling somebody your rate and how much you cost, and you know. But I think getting deeper in the game and maturing, you start understanding how much you're worth, and that people will pay more. And the scariest thing is to ask for more. But low-key, you'll never know if you don't ask for more. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things like I was actually comfortable with. I think I was better at the business side than the creative side, because I ended up just like giving up all my gigs because like I just didn't want to do it anymore. I just thought it was cool negotiating prices. I was like, oh snap, they
Well, see,
accepted.
that's why businesses take both people, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Can you talk about you kind of touched on it earlier or just there, the mentality that you need to have as far as like justifying that price increase? Because I feel like there's a lot of talented people out there that are afraid just to increase their prices because they're just like, if I increase my prices, no one's gonna want to book me anymore. Or am I really worth that? Like, can you talk about the mentality behind it and what it took for you to be like, oh shit, I'm worth fucking $100 an hour now? Like, what is that?
Right. Yeah, I think like when you start out, obviously you start at a certain level, right? Like there's like a standard. Like let's say it's like $50 an hour, right? You start there, and then you start building up. And what happens over time is you start realizing what people are saying yes to, right? Like the thing with me is I started noticing way too many people saying yes too quick. There was never like some sort of negotiation tactic. I'm like, damn, like everybody just saying yes to all my prices, and I feel like I'm getting paid enough already. You know what I mean? So, you know, as the years got on, I kept like inching my way up. But I think knowing what you're worth is important, though, because you have to show it to them, right? Like something that like Justin Cappadocia told me a lot is about line iteming and everything, right? Showing everything that you're going to present to the client, right? Because I think sometimes a lot of people will be like, yo, I'm going to do this project for you. It's going to cost $1,000. You down? You know? And to a lot of people, it's like, damn, you're going to charge me a fee, bro? Like that's a lot for what I'm asking, isn't it? And then, you know, they don't really have a response because they're not experienced in telling people everything that they're getting in the package, right? The lighting, like the consultation time, the even creating the concept for them. You know, a lot of people take the time for granted. Like you said, like doing business is a lot of the time, you know? So even sitting with them on meetings, talking to them on the phone. And I mean, if you have to create the whole ass concept or like direction for the project, like that's even more worth to you, you know? So I started realizing that I could keep adding on items, kind of like a la carte menu. You know, you can start with the prime rib, but you can also get the cream spinach. I can get the mac.
Damn, you go to cream spinach, mushrooms and shit. Damn, bro, it's like 8-course meal.
Right. But you know, it always starts with like the flat rate. And I think everybody does need to start there. I don't think everybody can come out the gate like, yo, my rate's 150 an hour. I'm gonna charge 500 for a gaffer. You know, not everybody can hit that right away. But you know, I think also though it does depend on your clientele and your network, because some people are in a network where people can't afford that shit. You know what I mean? Some people are like in a network where they can only afford like $200 video, like, and that's all they can handle. But what it takes on your end is, do you want to take on that $200? Yes, probably because you want the money, but you just have to make sure that your time is worth it. Like, make sure that you're not on set for 6 hours. Make sure that you're not bringing 17 lights and you're not doing the job of 3 people. You're going there to shoot a video for maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then that's it. You know what I mean? So it's all about like understanding what you're bringing to the project, and do you feel like your value is being like accepted out of the time, you know? So
yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. You just got to be real efficient with your time with those type of projects. And I think from a sales perspective, I think people are just afraid to hear like a no or like get turned down. Like they're more afraid of that. I forgot what it's called. It's like the fear of losing out or like the fear of rejection. Yeah, they're more afraid of that than actually than actually like the joy of like being accepted. So what I will say to most people that are out there that's starting their own business, it's like, don't ever be offended. Don't be scared if someone says no to you. Take it as an opportunity to educate them, because they're saying no not because they think you suck. They just don't know what's involved. Like having that itemized list, that's good. Usually I tell them like, hey, it's before I even show them pricing or anything, I tell them exactly what it's going to be. I do like a quick like intro to what it is. I compare it to other rates and stuff, just so I can kind of set the kind of, I forgot what it's called, like the
managing expectations.
Yeah, like you just got to tell them what exactly they're looking for and just kind of set it up what they're offering. Because if they are asking for to pay a little bit less, you just have to tell them, well, your expectation should be less than what you're asking too. And I feel people are just afraid of just having that conversation. But honestly, try that with your friends. Like reach out to like other creators and just ask them like, can I run through my pricing with you? And do you think this makes sense? I think that's something like most creatives don't try. So for the people out there, like try it, because you never know. Honestly, try on your significant other, try on like Alex, call him up for consulting, because like you'll never know. If you never had a client say no to you, like it's more nerve-wracking than 100 people saying no to you. You just got to hear no for you to just get used to it, and just don't be scared, really.
For sure.
Yeah. So
getting the no is scary sometimes, though. Especially, I think like for people who are in a position where they're like strapped for cash. You know what I mean? Like they're really like getting a lot of no's on jobs and stuff. So it is scary. But I think it's important to just keep pushing through it, because somebody gonna say yes. Yeah. Well, as long as you don't suck.
Yeah. Well, another thing too, a sales tactic is you kind of got to know who your market is. So if you know your your clientele is going to charge a little bit lower, just increase your prices by 20% and just give them a discount. So you're just right at where you thought you were going to be. So they think they got a deal, and you're like, you got.
People love the shit, bro.
Like it's simple, right? It's annoying, but it's simple.
People love it though, because I like, you pull that a lot of times on people, and I mean sometimes it's true though. You're like, okay, this project's usually 1,200, but for you I'll do it for 1,000.
Yeah. And
1,000 is already what you're willing to take. I think people forget that they can do that to make people feel special. And I mean, to be totally honest though, you could totally have charged 1,200 for that $1,000 project. So it's not like you're really like lowballing them. You know what I mean? I guess, or highballing them. What is it?
You're balling them something.
I'm balling them. But yeah, no, that's a smooth way to make people feel special. It's all about like finessing, you know what I mean? But know how and when to finesse.
But then you also, opposite of that, you just got to know what each minute costs you. So like if you are going to charge them $1,200, give them $1,200 worth of work. But if you know you're giving them a discount, you're going to give them $1,000 work. A lot of it, people are just like afraid to be snakes in it. But that's the thing. That's sales. Like you, at the same time, you're providing a service. You know what your minute is worth. You know what your hour's worth. So just have that difficult conversation. Like I even when you're talking to your colleagues, ask them what they charge. If they're uncomfortable talking about it, like, I mean, they can easily just say no. They don't have to talk about it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem that I encounter a lot with people is not me with a client, but creators in their early stages is like I've always been comfortable talking to people, and you have too. Like you're like a very just friendly and talkative and personable person. I think sometimes people
Thanks.
lack the thanks.
Thanks.
I think people sometimes just lack like the almost like not to say common sense, but the people skills that it kind of takes to initiate that, right?
Yeah.
And
I
so
always say take a sales course.
yeah,
Yeah, take something where it forces you to be uncomfortable because
yeah,
when you do take that step between being an artist and being an entrepreneur, self-employed, having your own business, like we just said that the right off the bat, that's 80 to 90% of the job. It's getting the business. You're not working unless you get the sale. You're not working unless you get the deal. So you got to be comfortable in that. And I even tell people like that's why you get these skills. That's why you learn new things so you can start upping your price because you can't just up
yeah,
your price because you're like, you know what? It's been 2 years. I think it's time to go up.
right. But a lot of people think like that, bro.
Right.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like they're like, I've been in this game long, but they haven't really done anything special or changed or evolved or anything. But they're like, okay, I'm in 2 years in and I'm doing the same type of work, but maybe I should increase my price. So some people have it like that, though.
Yeah.
They're confused.
Well, it's just one of those things. If you don't surround yourself with the right people, you don't have a network. It's hard for you to grow because you're pretty much you just learn from the people around you. So that's why it's really good to another tip: hire new people. Like you'd be surprised how many times I learn from the people I hire. And same thing like when you ask to
So,
work with other people, it's like, hey, I'll work for you at a discounted rate. Just let me fucking shadow you for like the second half of it and
yeah,
stuff
bro.
like that. Like that's real important.
Yeah.
So, just fun question: how much money have you spent on all your equipment so far?
Probably not as much as most people have. But let's see,
Because
maybe.
you hire out or you rent, right?
Yeah, so I haven't purchased all the lighting stuff that like I want to. I have been looking at this Aperture
Don't do it.
300D,
Don't do it. It's too expensive. Don't.
but I like it.
No, I like your
It's
system because hiring people that bring their own stuff, it saves on your pack up and setup. So
yeah. I mean, I would say maybe like 25K, maybe
over the
20,
over the 5 years.
20, yeah, maybe 20 to 25. I haven't really, because my big purchases were really just like the cameras, right? The bodies,
Right.
um, and like a 70 to 200. Everything else is kind of just like 100 here, 200 here, and it just like builds up. So yeah, not as much as most people, but yeah, I would say maybe like 20, 25K. Um,
So like
ooh,
per each. Go ahead. Go ahead.
inclu- including laptops though, maybe 30.
Oh yeah, laptops are expensive. What do
Yeah,
you use?
laptops.
You use Premiere or Final Cut, right?
I use Final Cut. I haven't had an issue with it. It's been really fire. And what's nice about the Blackmagic is I shoot in ProRes on the Blackmagic, and it's super smooth on the MacBook as long as I'm running it off a SSD. Um, I've had so many people tell me like how good Premiere is, but the rendering takes like forever, and they have to like render like before and after. But Final Cut renders like during, and I don't have to like wait, and I don't have to ever create a proxy for anything. So
Yeah, if you're on
Final Cut,
Apple, it makes sense to just go fucking Final Cut. There's no other way.
yeah, Final Cut's been smooth. I have been looking into this little M1 chip for either
Oh yeah,
like the Mac.
those are stupid fast.
Yeah, so I think that's what going to be my next big purchase, either a Mac Mini and then like a desktop build out, or the new MacBook. But me and my buddy were talking like if we should wait for the M2 and like let the bugs get worked out of the M1. So we'll
I
see.
think it might be a while before that happens.
Yeah, if it takes too long, I'm probably just gonna cop one next year because I do want to start editing the 6K footage quick. Because I haven't even delved into the 6K footage yet because I'm not trying to
Right, you just break your
crazy.
computer.
Oh, bro, my computer exploded like last week or last month.
Right,
I
I saw
swear.
your post. You had to get a new one, right?
Yeah, bro, I was running like 9 projects, like a black magic footage through like 2 hard drives, and then like it was rendering, and then by the top of my touch bar, it went.
Just smoke.
Yeah, bro. Too much heat with the edit.
You- See, that's the thing. You really do you get insurance on your stuff?
I've got like a basic like insurance because I just like bought a crib, so I have it like underneath here, like personal items stuff.
Yeah.
Just that. But I actually, my State Farm agent called me today to see if I wanted to add all my stuff in.
You
So
should. You really should.
yeah, I'm thinking about it. So
Yeah, I do it with all my equipment because a lot of it too is like it breaks, you're covered. My A7S2 broke like 3 times. I got it covered every time.
do they cover it full?
For the current market value.
That's good.
Yeah, cameras
That's
hold their
full
value. Yeah.
Not at like a used price.
No, just current market. Whatever. Yeah, whatever it's for new.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I will say we're gonna have to bring it down to one last question. I will just say for all the people that's starting out there, what is one piece of advice that you would give to your creator starting, whether it's in video space, music, dance, just one piece of advice that you wish you would have done different when you started?
One piece. Well, I wouldn't say it's if I would have done it different, but I would say the number one thing is don't compare your work to other people's work, right? Like keep
Fire.
your vision clear and don't let it get clouded by what everyone else is creating or all these cool effects that people are doing in videos. Like if you've got like oh exactly.
Yeah, don't mind that.
No, but yeah, man, like just stop letting everybody like tell you like what's dope and what's not dope, because I mean there's a consumer for like everybody, right? So the dollar bills falling is fire to some people, the fire's fire to some people. But yeah, I mean just create organically and create individually, and once you start building that and like getting your vision clear, I think like you said, learning from your peers and building a network of people around you that can push you, I think is the only way to level up. So
Damn. All things all at once. I don't know how to stop it now. Oh God. All right. Well, Alex, I want to raise my last glass to you. I mean, I'm all done. Just want to say thank you for joining us. We're definitely gonna have to do a part 2. You pick the topic next time, and make sure you're drinking. Or well, you don't have to drink. I don't want to peer pressure you. Just want to say, awesome chatting with you. Thanks for everyone watching. Can you give everyone one last shout out? Tell them where they can find you. Tell them how they can book you, and just one last goodbye.
Yeah, man. But yeah, thank you guys. This is sponsored by Pocari Sweat, Drink of Japan. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Alex De Guzman _ Vimeo.com/AD Chicago Creative. But yeah, I'm repping New Pixel Films. Shout out to Andrew, shout out to Via, shout out to the whole squad. And yeah, thanks for everybody for helping. Shout out to Jay for bringing me on my first job.
Yes, sir. First podcast. All right, bro. Cheers, man. Thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate all of y'all.